right, so a buddy of mine sent me a set of throttle bodies off of a Crossfire Corvette, actually an 82 C3 Corvette, that he's changing back from a carburetor back to the original setup. So today we're going to clean these things up and we're going to rebuild them. Um, I just got a ultrasonic cleaner, so we're going to see how that works. I heated up 2 gallons of water and put it in there. Now, this ultrasonic cleaner does have a heat feature, but everybody said if you put it on the stove and boil the water, it goes way quicker than waiting for the ultrasonic cleaner to heat the water itself. So that's what I did. And so it's got 2 gallons of water, 1 quart of pine sol. I'm going to take these throttle bodies apart and dump the pieces in there, and we'll see how clean they come up. I am going to take the gaskets off. I've seen people put them into the ultrasonic cleaner with the gaskets on, and I've seen people do it with the gaskets off. But I think as easy as it is to get the gaskets off, I'm just going to do the gaskets off, and then if there's any little spot that I can't get off, then I'll let the ultrasonic leak detector work the gasket that I can't get. But for the most part, I'll try to make it easier on it by cleaning the gasket off. So we're gonna clean these in the ultrasonic cleaner, see what they do. I'm also going to soda blast them. I bought a soda blaster, so we're gonna anything that the ultrasonic cleaner doesn't do, we'll do in the soda blaster. So here they've been in for about 5 minutes, and I realized, oh, you know what? I never drilled out the plugs on the throttle body, so I drill out the plug real quick and get that plug out so I can adjust everything when I put it back together. But you can see after 5 minutes, it's already pretty clean. Um, I'm going to put them in for about a half hour, but but after 5 minutes, I will say they came up pretty clean. So I'll take this second throttle body apart while the first one's sitting inside there soaking, and we'll give it a little bit of time. I also noticed that if you leave the throttle bodies just sitting where you originally put them, they don't clean the whole thing. So I think if you just get in there and move them around a little bit, maybe put them on one side or the other, it allows the ultrasonic cleaner to work a little bit better. So I did notice that, so I did do that. I put it in and then I flipped them over and then put it back. And the same thing with the little parts. I don't know what it is, but where the where the parts were laying on the screening or the basket on the bottom, it didn't really come as clean. So I just rolled them over, and then it really cleaned them up well. So that's uh that's what we got going on right now, and we'll see what happens here when I pull them out of the bucket after a half hour. Now, these throttle bodies, they did look 40 years old. They definitely had some carbon buildup on the bottom of them. They were very dark. They had some rust in them. Here you see that I'm filling up my soda blaster with some baking soda. We're going to pull these out, and I'll tell you what, that ultrasonic cleaner really works well. The pine saw, but there were some spots that didn't come clean, so I put them in my baking soda gun and I blasted them. And I'll tell you, between the baking soda gun and the ultrasonic, what the ultrasonic couldn't do, the baking soda did. What the baking soda couldn't do, the ultrasonic did. So I think the team of these two were really good. I mean, that throttle body, I don't want to say it looks like new, but it is sparkling clean, right? So now that I have the second throttle body in there, we're going to go ahead and rebuild the first throttle body. I've got several videos of rebuilding the throttle body, so um, I don't think we have to go through this much, but I will explain these diaphragms. Um, there's two different diaphragms, two different throttle bodies. Right now, the one that I'm working on is the driver side. The driver side has the small diaphragm, or I'm sorry, the small pin on the diaphragm, and that is the one that adjusts the fuel pressure, right? So here it is right now. I'm adjusting the fuel pressure, just moving the screw back and forth. And we'll actually have to adjust it once I get it back together. But these things, they're pretty straightforward. Like I said, the big difference is the one uh, you can adjust the fuel pressure, and the other one is more like it's a compensator or a pulse damper. Um, so it just takes a little bit of the stuff out. Now here you see I'm talking a little bit about the throttle body. So let me explain that because I've never talked about the injectors before. So the injectors, there's actually two different injectors. So you have to make sure that you put the injectors back in. And I have a couple different videos on rebuilding these throttle bodies, but I've never really talked about the injectors. So according to GM, there's two part numbers. One ends in a 547. That would be your right front throttle body, and one ends in 548, which would be your left rear throttle body. A lot of people are using those standard injectors. So the start standard part number for the right front would be TJ12 and the left rear would be TJ16. So they are different. The flow rate is slightly different due to the regulator being in the left rear. The pressure is just a little bit different from the right front to the left rear. So they do actually, from the factory, have a slightly different size injector. I believe one is 48 pounds an hour and the other is 47 pounds an hour, something along those way. It's not a big difference, but it is something. I've read a bunch of stuff and I can't quite figure out what what it is. I know it has something to do with the flow rate. Here we're gonna take that little piece of weld or brazing off of that so I can adjust that throttle body. You see that I just dropped a screw down in that throttle body. I noticed when I cleaned the last throttle body that there was a line or a ring that didn't get cleaned in the ultrasonic cleaner because the throttle body plate was hitting the throttle body. So I put a screw in there to hold the throttle body open a crack, and then that way it cleans all the way through. And that seemed to work out real good. So I would suggest putting something in there to crack the throttle bodies open and let that work to build the carbon out of the system. And and really get in there and clean rather than trying to clean around the throttle plates. So I really like that soda blaster. It really seemed to work well. The only thing about the soda blaster was that it does kind of clog up now and then, so you kind of have to shake the gun, blast it for a second, shake the gun, blast it. I don't know if there was moisture in my baking soda or that's just the way that it happens. But here, once again, I'm putting the passenger side together. That will have the big disc on the diaphragm, and that also has the shoulder. So the shoulders are on both of them. That holds the spring perch, but the big disc on the diaphragm goes to the right front. When you take apart that throttle body, you'll notice that there's a big stand that that big disc sits on, so it doesn't close the fuel pressure off the way that the driver's side does. So they are definitely different. Like I say, different injectors, different diaphragms, and different throttle bodies, right? But basically, I didn't do this to rebuild it. I do it to show you how well these ultrasonic cleaners work, and how well the pine saw work. Now, everybody told me that the pine saw uh, does not hurt aluminum, and I completely agree with that. So, oh, here I'm looking at the IACs. There are three different design IACs, so make sure that the pintle on the IAC you're putting in looks like the pintle on uh, the one that you took out. Here I'm just spraying just a little WD-40 just to keep the steel parts from corroding before I start. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my videos. I greatly appreciate it. And here's how they came out when they were completely finished. As you can see, man, they really look good. They came out well. Thanks for watching.